thelandofisrael.com and Israel National TV present Ari Abramowitz and Jeremy Gimpel. Live from the heart of Israel, it's Tuesday Night Live in Jerusalem.
Shalom and welcome to Tuesday Night Live in Jerusalem. I'm Jeremy Gimpel, this is Ari Abramowitz, and thank you for joining us. Tonight we're talking about the tomb of Joseph. We're talking about reclaiming our holy sites. I'll tell you, I went for the first time in my entire life to the tomb of Joseph, and it transformed me. For years, it's been closed to Jews. It's been impossible. It's in the heart of Shechem in Nablus. It's in the middle of like a nest of vipers. I mean, it's a very dangerous place to go. We went in the middle of the night. We had helicopters and tanks, and we had all of these people protecting us. And I got out of this armored bus, and I was with a few friends of mine. I was with Ari, Yehuda, David, Eliezer, Rav Tovia Singer, and I saw the tomb of Joseph for the first time. And I'm a little bit of a drama queen, I know. But I started crying because the tomb of Joseph was actually a garbage dump. The Arabs in Shechem throw all of their garbage in the tomb of Joseph. It was graffitied, there was garbage everywhere, it was burnt. In fact, the dome of the tomb of Joseph was cracked in. And I looked, I said, what? Yosef HaTzadik? That's the tomb of Joseph. Where the hell is the leadership in this country? How could that be? How could that be that the tomb of Joseph would be? That's the third holiest site to the Jewish people. It's the Temple Mount, the tomb of the patriarchs. Kever Yosef, this is what it looks like? And I'm like, all right. If we did one of those, we took one of their holy sites, if it's the Church of the Holy whatever or the Mosque of the Holy whatever, and we treated it like that, you know what would happen? There would be human rights activists storming the streets of Israel, parading about human rights, about freedom of religion, about oppression. And here I am now in Jerusalem calling on all these human rights activists. Where are you now?
Where are they? Any human rights activists here? You're not welcome. See, the question is, you know, there's a lot of tombs in Israel. There's probably a lot of Josephs also. Why did we pick the tomb of Joseph? Why this show? What's it about? In my mind, the reason the tomb of Joseph was picked is because of who Joseph was. What are we facing in Israel right now? The government, the entire national policy, the foreign policy of Israel is revolved around fear. Fear that America won't support us, or fear that the nations will turn against us. And what was Joseph all about? He didn't know the word fear. There was no such thing as the word fear. His whole life was lived with such a consciousness of God, of his emunah, his belief, his faith. You know, it comes from the word imunim, from training, from practice. His whole life, he lived his faith to the degree where he went before Pharaoh, the superpower of the world, and Pharaoh said, I need you to interpret my dream. And Joseph said, I don't interpret dreams, that's the God of Israel. That is courage. That is just an instinct, a reflex of saying, no, it's all God. And perhaps if we go and we take care of Joseph, our father, we help bring his tomb back to a respectable way where we can respect it and the world would respect us for that, we could then earn and merit his attributes of courage and honor and faith and truth for the entire nation.
And tonight we want to share with everyone here a short clip of our experiences at the tomb of Joseph. Enjoy.
It's the dead of night. Jewish settlers in an armored van with an army escort traveled to the tomb of Joseph, the biblical patriarch, in the heart of Nablus on the West Bank. Israel controlled the tomb until late 2000, when it was taken over by Palestinians after the outbreak of the Intifada. Jewish worshippers now return, always late at night, for brief visits. These are the hardcore of Israel's settler movement.
Is this a free democracy in the land of Israel? Are these holy Jewish sites? Or in fact, we're slaves in our own country? Was that the Zionist dream? Was that the dream of 2,000 years, that we would have to go to the tomb of Joseph with helicopters, tanks, in a bulletproof van? That's not the Jewish dream. We're going to bring the Jewish dream back.
Their dream is to reverse the peace process, to regain control of the West Bank and Gaza.
The main message is that Oslo was wrong, that the disengagement was wrong. The Arabs proved in their barbarism, in their hate towards us, in the rockets that they shoot into our cities, that they are not worthy of having their own state. Surely not on our land. The land of Israel belongs to the Jewish people. It was wrong. It was wrong to give it over to the Arabs, and it must be returned to our hands.
Jerusalem, Chol HaMoed Sukkot, the year 2008. It's near midnight as tens of Jews are preparing for a long ride. In the meantime, thousands of Jews from all over the country get ready to make their way in a bus similar to this. They are all going to Joseph's tomb in Shechem. Why? What is everyone looking for in Joseph's tomb? And in the middle of the night? What is so special about Joseph's tomb? Joseph's tomb is mentioned in the Bible, both in the Chumash and the prophets. And Yaakov came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. And he bought the piece of land on which he spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And the bones of Yosef, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, they buried in Shechem, in a section of ground which Yaakov bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of money. And they became the inheritance of the children of Yosef. The tradition as to the location of Joseph's tomb has been preserved and passed down over the years. The ancient Madaba map from the 7th century mentions Joseph's tomb near Shechem. 600 years later, a Jewish traveler writes, "And from there I went to Shechem and saw the grave site of the righteous Joseph, son of Jacob, which was situated between two marble pillars, one at its head and one at its feet." Throughout all of history, Jews made the pilgrimage to the gravesite of Yosef HaTzadik, Joseph the Righteous One, to pray and pour out their supplications to God. They are attracted to the figure of Joseph because of his noble and righteous character, as mentioned in the Bible. For decades, the yeshiva Od Yosef Chai, located near Joseph's tomb in the city of Shechem, was a place where people of all ages came to pray and engage in deep study of the Torah. In addition to the numerous visitors to the holy site, there existed a permanent yeshiva of Torah scholars, studying Torah daily with great self-sacrifice. But during the Second Intifada in September 2000, on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, Joseph's tomb was attacked by Palestinians. One of the soldiers defending the site was injured and killed. In the aftermath of the attack, the Palestinians take control of the area from the IDF, promising to honor the sanctity of the site. But the moment the IDF withdraws from the area, Joseph's tomb is desecrated. Torah scrolls are burned. The entire area ransacked and vandalized. For several years after that, Jews are not permitted to visit Joseph's tomb.
When I look down to Kever Yosef, I feel that we've sold our brother for a second time.
לראות את המקום בחורבנו, שמם, הרוס, שרוף, נטוץ, אין ספק שזו תחושה קשה.
We see what a farce that was. This was supposed to be one of the fundamental things, that they are going to protect us, something that I never believed was going to happen, and something that the whole world sees has not happened.
It is obvious that the Palestinian Authority has not complied with the stipulations that they provide free and unfettered access to all Jewish holy sites.
The Jewish people have a right to the land of Israel. They have a right to their holy places.
Today, through great efforts, Jews are returning to Joseph's tomb. The government is giving permission for only one visit a month, in the middle of the night, with a massive army escort, and for only a few thousand Jews each time. On the nights in which Jews are allowed to visit, there is great excitement and anticipation. Tens of buses from all over Israel are filled with Jews who come to pour out their hearts and bask in the holiness of the righteous Yosef. It is an atmosphere of spiritual elevation and sanctity.
I hadn't been aware of before of the power of Yosef. It was almost like a magnetic draw for people, and I'm not sure many of them could even explain it themselves.
Kever Yosef is not only holy, but it's part of our heart and part of our soul and part of who we are.
He was a personality who could be the viceroy, second only to the pharaoh in Egypt, but yet still maintain his Masorah, still maintain his tradition and his Jewish identity. That's why he is so important to us, to the Jewish people.
יש לנו רשימות שאנשים שמחכים לפעמים שנה ויותר ללא שום הגזמה, שנה ויותר על מנת להיכנס למקום.
It's inspiring to see the thousands of people who are coming out in the middle of the night to take part in this event. And this brings us further to our ultimate goal of re-establishing Kever Yosef. And I'm sure that we will reach that goal.
The variety of different kinds of people who came, I think it's impossible to generalize and label them as anything, because I mean, you had the grandmothers from Ra'anana and Hasidim from Bnei Brak, and people who actually in normal life would probably not have that much in common with each other.
By continuing to visit Kever Yosef, we're showing the government and our people and our kids how important it is to maintain our rights and our connections with our heritage in this country.
שברו, ניצו, שרפו את הקבר, ולכאורה כבר אין לו תקומה. אבל כמו עם ישראל, גם במצב כזה, הוא מוצא את הכוחות, מתרומם ובונה את הכל מחדש.
ברוך אתה, אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשה ניסים לאבותינו, בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
After great effort, a small flickering light was ignited on Hanukkah of 2008. A team of Jewish workers accompanied by the IDF entered Shechem and rebuilt Joseph's tomb. The restoration is a small part in an overall effort to return Jewish sovereignty and dignity to the historical site.
פעם ראשונה שהתפנים בהתחלה להיות כלפי מעלה, ובעזרת השם הגאולה פה מתחילה.
זה לא משהו גדול, סך הכל שמו מלט, אבל זה כל כך, זה פשוט בעיניי, זה שינוי אווירה, שינוי תפיסה. אנחנו חוזרים ליוסף.
אנחנו מצפים שנחזור למקום הזה כמו שהוא היה בתפארתו.
We intend to come in and rebuild the roof of the building and to finish renovating the entire building and to continue and demand the regular access for Jews to be able to enter Kever Yosef every day.
Without that access to our holy sites, to our legacy, we have no future.
Thank God there are people who care, and all of the Jewish people need to support the efforts. They need to be involved.
Joseph's tomb, Kever Yosef, the gravesite of one of our nation's forefathers, is again becoming a place where multitudes of Jews visit and pray. In a continuous chain, generation after generation of Jews continue the tradition of visiting their patriarch to pray for themselves, for their land, and for their nation. Today, there is an opportunity to strengthen our Jewish hold on the site. Ensuring that this site remains in Jewish hands is fulfilling the legacy of our Holy Father, Yosef HaTzadik.
With Pesach on the horizon and realizing that the key to the redemption is actually the bones of Joseph, stay tuned next week when we see what's happening practically on the ground in Israel with the head of the Council of Samaria joining us and how the Jewish people are going to reclaim our holy sites, and we're going to restore the tomb of our holy tzaddik, our father Joseph. Have a wonderful, happy Passover. Chag Sameach.
Let's go. Hey, hey.